Take it away.
All right. So, enough already.
Menopause.
Golly.
Give me a break.
Yeah, menopause. That's always like this word that it makes you feel old. It makes you feel like
Doesn't it?
it's got such a stigma and a negative. Oh, menopause.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, she's menopausal.
I mean, she's old and
Right.
crazy.
And crazy. Yes. So enough already. Enough already.
Right.
We are here, and we are women supporting women.
Yes.
Who are fed up with being fed up, who are sick and tired of being tired.
Sick and tired.
So all of the things, all
Is
of
that
the
not
things.
the truth?
Yeah. It is definitely something that no one prepares you for. There is no book, What to Expect, like the What to Expect when you're expecting,
Right.
like the What to Expect in menopause.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're on the cusp of that. I think, the tide is turning, but for right now, nobody tells you. Nobody tells you what to expect. No one tells you, hey, heads up, this can start as early as 35 years old, where you are just in the thick of it, right?
Which is crazy. It's crazy.
Totally crazy.
35. I mean, most people are like, oh, you're young. You're
You're too young.
Right.
To be going through perimenopause, menopause. You are too young.
Right.
So that's what we're going to be doing in our Enough Already, Menopause Enough Already podcast. We're going to be just supporting women, having those conversations that you're in your closet, like crying, wondering what's wrong with you because no one has told you. So
nobody talks about it. And so since nobody talks about it, you think you're the only one going through this, and you're not. There's so many women out there that feel like they're going crazy, and it's just not fair that it's not talked about. So before we go any farther, let's go ahead and thank the people where we are. We want to give a shout out to Virginia Varsity.
Yes, coming to you from Varsity Park Studios at Varsity Park on Franklin, Roanoke's newest innovative storage and business center. You can check them out on Facebook or at varsityparkfranklin.com. This is a great facility. We are super excited to be here in these studios. Great shout out to them. Thanks for the use of their space. It's so cute.
It's awesome
for our listeners. Super official. Like just we feel like we are, superstars in here.
We are superstars. We are superstars at our podcast.
Well, yes. So just great shout out to them. Thank you, Varsity Park Studios.
And I also want to say, we're not, professionals with this.
No.
But what we do have is the experience, just because what we have gone through and what we have experienced, and we want to share these things with everybody. And
absolutely,
we want to get feedback. We want to know what else women are suffering from.
Absolutely.
So we can help support each other and I don't know, make everybody see things that are, maybe educate them on things that are out there that can help them, and that they know they don't have to live like this the rest of their lives.
Absolutely. So yes, as Heather said, we are sisters, and so we like to compare notes. Tell me about this. Have you experienced this? And that's kind of where we came from. Our phone calls
have been hilarious.
Notes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we should have recorded our phone conversations over the past year or two, because it has been seriously something out of a movie that I can't believe I'm going through this, or what about this, or, I'm absolutely biting my family's heads off, and then the next minute I'm crying in the corner, just the gamut of emotions and symptoms. And so we definitely, if there is something that we can share, that we can talk about, that we can be open about and candid about, and maybe TMI sometimes. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
Some of these conversations might get a little uncomfortable.
Right, might be a little, but I feel like that's kind of where the dialogue needs to go.
The stuff that is not talked about.
Right, because for a variety of reasons, but we want to welcome women to our podcast, and we're not excluding the men, husbands. If you want to start listening up, it might save your marriage, because unfortunately many divorces happen when this perimenopause menopause shift happens, just because of the effects on the brain, the effects on the relationship, all of the strains and the difficulties, again, that no one's talking about.
Right.
So that's kind of our mission statement. We want to help women, support women, and like we said, enough already. Enough of hiding in the dark. Enough of the stigma that, oh, she's perimenopausal, she's menopausal, and your family walking on eggshells, and you thinking that you're broken in some way because
you don't feel the same.
Yeah,
yes.
What you've always done isn't working.
Right.
And you're seeing these crazy things go on with your body, your mind, your mental capacity, your gut health, everything affected by the menopausal shift. And so we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. We're gonna dig in the good, the bad, and the ugly of menopause.
Well, Courtney, why don't you kind of say a little bit about what got you to this point?
Okay. Well, my name is Courtney, and I am a 48-year-old wife and mother of 4 pretty much grown. They think they're grown by age, but they're still on my checkbook. But I have been active my entire life. I've been a collegiate athlete. I've been a trainer. I've been a group fitness director. I have been all of the things. So I felt like I had a good knowledge of my body and how I could eat and fuel my body for workouts and, just for daily life. And then I'm seeing my body physically change, thicker in areas, midsection, facial changes, a little more roundness, and joint pain, significant joint pain. And I am, just chalking that up to, because of my profession, I'm hard on my body, I'm working out, I'm doing these things, and dismissing it. Oh, irregular periods, dismissing it to always my workouts or how much I had been doing for work. Now that I'm looking back at some of those, they were clear signals of perimenopause, irregular periods, weight change, mood shift. Seeing those things now, I should have paid more attention, but I was in my late 30s, early 40s. That's right. I'm not in menopause. No. Come on, give me a break. I'm too young for that. The biggest thing I think that hit me was gradual weight gain. Like I said, I'm very active. I'm teaching minimum 2 classes a day. I'm walking, I'm active, I'm coaching high school softball, I'm never sitting, never doing those things, and I feel like I eat pretty good, I'm protein, all the things, but weight is gradually creeping up, a little bit at a time, to where I look in the mirror and I go, who is this person?
Oh, I know.
It's like you don't know yourself.
No. I started coming up with nicknames like Oompa Loompa or Fat Tick. I mean, really.
Really?
Yes.
Right. Why
You're
are
just feeling swollen. It's like, what did I do? Like, no reason. Oh, the temperature goes up outside, so now I've got to suffer the consequences. And I can't wear jewelry or clothes for that matter.
Right. We're staying at home because we're naked.
I know.
Right. I think the final straw for me was when I started not being able to sleep. I had always had great sleep. Sleep started being interrupted and hot flashes. And I remember having a hot flash. This was the final enough already moment for me. Sitting, getting my hair done. Okay. I have my clothing on and I have the cape on, and they put the towel around your neck first. And now you're choking with the cape.
You got a plastic bag around you to hold the heat in.
You're smothering.
Right.
I had the worst hot flash. Sweat running down my back.
I'm just envisioning your color running down your face.
Goodness, she hadn't gotten there. She was putting the foils in, but my face gets so red, and all you can do is stare at yourself in the mirror. My face gets so red. Immediately, sweat is running down my face, and she stops and she says, "Courtney, are you okay?" That was like the end all. I'm seeking help. This cannot go on. Not sleeping, embarrassing hot flashes, and that's when I actually went to a hormone specialist. Even she was like, you're on the early end. I think you're probably out of whack a little bit. Let's do your blood. Listening to my symptoms, and my blood work came back totally like in menopause. Totally. You're not making anything.
Wow.
She was surprised at how crazy it was. So that is my aha moment. Enough already. There has to be a better way. That was my enough already moment.
Okay, so mine was similar as far as like the joint pain, like things were hurting, and but I think I just kept thinking, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Right.
I'm gonna feel better. My knees were aching. I was gaining weight, and I was gaining weight in my middle.
Right.
And I had not. That is not somewhere I gained weight before.
Muffin top.
Yes.
Like this,
full
I've
on.
never had this.
Muffin
before.
top, fupa, all of it.
Right.
It was, and I was like, where is this coming from? And again, I'm not a crazy, terrible eater.
Right.
I exercised, lifted weights, personal trainer, really tried to keep myself in shape and at a good weight. And my husband, I love him to death, and he doesn't ever say anything intentionally to hurt me. But one of his things was, and I know he was trying to say it in a nice way, he said, "Sweetie, have you gotten your hormones checked? Because you've gained weight."
Right.
So he was the first one to say, "Hey, I'm going to advocate for you, and you need to go get your hormones checked." And in
something's
my mind,
not right.
Exactly. He knew something wasn't right because of what was happening. And I kept putting it off.
Mm-hmm.
And so it got to the point where I woke up one morning and one of my shoulders just didn't work. I physically couldn't wash my hair. I was like, what did I do?
Right.
Did I tear something in my shoulder? Is something wrong? So what do I do after, I don't know, maybe a month of this? It was getting worse and worse and worse. And then before I know it, I couldn't even put my bra on. And so what do? I go to an orthopedic.
Right.
And he's like, oh my gosh, you've got a severe problem with your shoulder. You need an MRI. So I go get the MRI, and he comes back. He goes, "I'm really surprised because I really thought that you were gonna have a rotator cuff tear or something." He said, "But your shoulder looks fine.
Right.
There's nothing. Why not wear a sling for a few weeks?"
Right.
Because he sent me to physical therapy, and it got worse. So long story short, 8 months later of not being able to use my arm, luckily it was my left arm and I'm right-handed, my right shoulder started doing the same thing. So I had two shoulders that were just literally freezing up.
And were you still thinking, what is going on with my shoulders? Or was that kind of a...
But then I started thinking maybe I should go see a hormone doctor, a real one.
Mm-hmm.
You go to your your general practitioner, and they do your blood work, and they're like, oh, you're fine, you're in the normal curve. But is it the normal curve for you?
Right.
And so luckily, my shoulders healed up. They, before I got my hormone therapy, but it was a year of not being able to move my arms. And I've had shoulder surgery before, and that took 9 months to heal from the surgery.
Right.
And it was almost the same feeling of just that frozen, just not being able to use the shoulder. And to think that that's a symptom.
It's a huge symptom.
Yes. A symptom of perimenopause and going through this change in life. And it was ridiculous. So one other thing is we have a farm, we live on a farm, and we were working in the pasture, and I had gained probably 50 pounds over the course of like 3 years, which is, I think, astronomical for not necessarily changing what I'm doing.
Right.
And my husband was moving a piece of equipment, and he is needing my help. So he's like, I need your help. I couldn't even run. I couldn't speed up to run to where he was. And his back is doing, and he's like, are you even coming?
You're like,
and I was like, I'm trying.
Coming.
As I'm like hobbling over to him. And I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not living this way.
Already.
Menopause, enough already. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what got me started in searching.
And I feel like that's why we want to do this, because we don't want people to get to that place where you're pulling whatever hair that you have left, pulling it out if you're
because it's thinning,
and now we're seeing through. It's thinning. We don't need to pull it out, but that enough already. My husband's back is breaking. I physically cannot get to you because of joint pain, because I'm trying to.
I can't even move.
I can't. Yeah, I cannot
hips,
run.
knees,
cannot get there.
Boom.
Right.
Boom. Yeah. No.
No. Or the sitting in there, the hairdresser's chair, dripping with sweat, like we're actually doing something other than just sitting there.
Oh,
no. Gosh. So, and that's where we need to be. We need to be here supporting each other and having these conversations, because I feel like had we known in our 30s, these are some symptoms to be looking for, because, okay, your average age of menopause, let me hear, I have the average age of menopause is between 45 and 55. That's your average menopausal ages. Well, perimenopause,
which they don't even count menopause until you have not had a cycle for 12 months.
Right.
So you're not even in menopause until that happens.
Yeah.
So all these symptoms can start as early as 10 years before.
Right. So if you're in your 45 to 55 range for menopause, that's 12 months, no menstrual cycle. Back that up 10 years, that's 35 years old.
Yes.
At 35 years old, I will say the majority of women are in the middle of it, in the thick of it. Careers, children, home, family, whatever their life looks like. At 35, menopause is the last thing you're thinking of. Mm-hmm. So if you're starting to, I'm not sleeping well at night. we chalk it up to exhaustion, we chalk it up to stress, we chalk it up to kids, because at that point in time we probably do have children that are waking us up, 3 or 4 times a night,
right,
depending on the age of your kids. Menopause isn't the first thing on your mind, nor should it be. It shouldn't be like, oh no, this is a menopause symptom.
Right.
We just want to bring awareness.
Right.
If it's consistent, if it's persistent, if it's out of the ordinary, advocate for yourself. Go to your PCP, have these conversations. But unfortunately, what we're learning, your PCP may have a 6-week crash course on menopause. And so that's not the first thing they are thinking of when a 35-year-old, 36, 37, 38, whatever, early 40s comes into their office complaining of shoulder pain, complaining of weight gain, complaining of, exhaustion.
I've got to tell you, I went into my general practitioner.
Okay, yeah, let me hear it.
So I was probably early 40s. So I'm 52 now. I'll be 53 in about 5 weeks. Oh my gosh. Which is young. Very. So I go into the doctor, and like I said, it's probably 10 years ago. And I said, I'm gaining weight. This is what's happening. He compared me to an old car.
Nice.
He said, well, when a car hits about 100,000 miles, things start to break and things just quit working. That's about where you are.
Enough already.
He compared me to a car with 100,000 miles on it.
Thanks, Doc. I've got more than half my life left.
Thank you.
Thanks. I feel great.
So I'm going to live till I'm 80, and I've got another 40 years to go. And, at the time, I know my math right now, but he compared me to a car.
Yeah.
With 100,000 miles on it.
We have to change that.
What about the cars that last 300,000 miles?
Right.
What if I'm a good Toyota?
I'm a Toyota. I'm a Honda. I am running.
I can run,
and
I'm going to keep going. So that should have just been, you're in the, the first, quarter or third of your life.
Right. He should have asked those next steps. Right. Okay, we've done these things. Heather, let's just check your blood work. You're having some of these symptoms, but your PCPs aren't talking about it. They're not thinking about it.
But they don't know.
They don't know. Same thing. You went to the ortho for your shoulders.
Yep.
They should have asked.
Yep.
Have you done a hormone panel?
Right.
That should be in their realm of expertise. I had the same thing happen with my knee. Ortho, went in, again, I'm active, I'm a personal trainer, I'm a fitness instructor, my knee's hurting, getting cortisone injections, all of this. And I asked the doctor, who is an athlete. He's an ortho specialist, he's an athlete. And I said, man, I am too young for my knee to be in this shape. And he said, well, you're not in your 20s anymore.
And what?
That was
20s
his response.
20s? It's 20s? Like you only have your 20s?
You have 20 years.
You have 20
good years.
Then you're done.
Turn you out to pasture because you're an old car. His conversation should have been, hey, have you checked your hormones?
Right.
Estrogen, decrease in estrogen affects the entire body.
Yes.
But especially your joints. Let's check your estrogen panel. Had that been the question, for our listeners, I need a knee replacement at 48 years old, and I've probably needed it for several years, but put it off. Had I checked my hormone levels then and seen an estrogen decline, had I done HRT earlier, maybe I wouldn't be in this place that I am now.
Right now, and
of deterioration.
Longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
even 100,000 mile car, I'm sorry, you can replace the parts.
Right.
And it'll keep going and it'll run well. It'll run well and it'll feel good and it'll sound good.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. because you're talking about going to your general practitioner. Okay, they will run a blood panel, but you have to advocate
yes
for yourself
yes
to get your hormones checked.
yes
Because they do not do that.
no listeners, that is
only,
not normal. They
that
will
is
not check
normal.
estrogen, your T4, your thyroid. They won't check those
No.
things. You have to specifically ask for them to be checked.
Right.
Testosterone levels, estrogen, all of the things you have to ask for that hormone panel.
Yes.
And then your numbers could be in the quote unquote maybe normal and you're on the low side. Okay, we can still tweak things mildly to get you to an optimal level.
Right.
To ease the symptoms. It's not just blood check. That's not the end all.
No.
It's the symptoms. It's the, am I getting relief? Do I feel optimal? Do I feel like I'm functioning? Is the brain fog lifting? Is my are my energy levels lifting? Am I getting the relief from any kind of supplementation, HRT, whatever the case may be?
Right. And I will say, for you listeners, the younger listeners, my daughter is 26. She went and got her hormones checked because she was feeling off. And at 26, she is on progesterone and estrogen because her progesterone, I don't think, registered.
Wow.
Now, she had cancer as a child, so she went through, chemo treatments, and it could have messed something up.
Right.
But at 26, you would still assume that, hey, I'm fine, my hormones are fine, and I really don't need to do anything.
Right.
But at least she went and did that so she can go ahead and start feeling better.
Yep, at 26 years old.
At 26 years old.
I think, ladies, I think we have to start focusing on how we feel. We are typically the ones that know our bodies the best.
Absolutely.
We know when we feel tired. We know when, man, like your daughter, something's off. I just feel it. I feel like something's off. And advocate for yourself. A lot of times your general practitioner has a scope of expertise that they focus in. And as we said earlier in the show, the hormones don't really fall into their first course of diagnosis, or let's look at hormones, or let's do a blood panel. Usually a blood panel is almost like last resort for your general practitioner. Well,
and we also want to say general practitioners are not bad doctors.
No.
That's not what we're trying to say here. We're just saying that it's a different realm and it's a different thing and it's becoming more common, but it's not as common and there's not as much education for the doctors. So they are not as informed, and it's not high on their list of priorities as far as questions to ask. So I think just being an advocate for yourself, because you know your body, you know how you feel, if you're tired, the weight gain that's not normal, and I'll tell you what, there is a huge list, and we'll go into that in another podcast, but just a huge list of symptoms that you would, it's just crazy how many things that happen to your body. If you're, just really pay attention, you'll be able to see patterns and things, and just to be aware so you can start, having things tested. And if it's the thing you want to do, it's your choice.
Right.
But just so you can start feeling better if it's something that you want to do.
Yeah. As Heather was saying, the list of symptoms, it's crazy. Anything from itchy ears to burning skin, crawling skin, joint pain. We've already said brain fog, all of these symptoms that we will dive into and discuss. And I'm sure the list that we have doesn't include all of them, because that's the other thing. We are all individuals.
Mm-hmm.
All of our life experiences are unique to us and similar to others.
Right.
We can only experience what we experience, but that's why we do need to advocate for ourselves and to take note. And that's kind of one of the main reasons we're doing this, to raise awareness, to let you know that you're not broken, you're not alone. Newsflash, every woman is going to go through this.
Exactly.
You're not alone. Every freaking female will go through perimenopause, menopause. I didn't even realize I was in perimenopause. I didn't, because I thought I was too young, and no one talks about perimenopause and menopause. I didn't even realize I was in, this is how out of my mind it was. Not even a thought. I had irregular periods for probably since I was 40. They would, it's a little bit longer. Man, it's only been 2 weeks. I just had a period. What in the world is going on? That's what I would say. What in the world is going on? And then I am one of the minority where I went from perimenopause to menopause in like a span of 15 months. Like,
that is fast. That
very,
is really fast.
Very fast.
Mine lasted forever. Just saying.
Well, and you know what? Now that I say that, I probably had perimenopause for 4 or 5 years.
Right.
I probably had those things, dismissing it. But the only, from my first kind of HRT blood draw to the next, I went like full-blown menopause. And I had my last period that this is a doozy. And it was like she was having her
last
hurrah.
Woo-hoo, I'm gone.
And I will never see you again.
It was like a sail.
And that was it. Boom. Like 1 year. But like I said, looking back, maybe I was in perimenopause during this time, dismissing the symptoms, dismissing what was going on, the whole time wondering, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
So if there is something that we can help with,
right.
What we hope is to be a very successful, but not successful for us, but successful for women's health.
Yes.
Informational.
Yes. Educating.
Support groups.
Yes. Like, we want all of you women out there to know and feel and know that you're a part of an awesome group of women. Just women. We are amazing, and that there's no shame in what, we go through, and that you're not alone, and there's ways that you can feel better, and we want to be here to support and answer questions and just help women feel better. We're women supporting women.
Yes, the things that we went through and that we have compared notes. I'm grateful that I have a sister, 2 sisters actually. We can compare notes and we can say, hey, what age did you experience this? Now, our mother, she had a hysterectomy,
at
45. So she didn't have, her journey is very different. And at the time that she had a hysterectomy, that was when HRT was being completely turn against, cancer causing, no, never, do not want to. And
just the public was scared about these, I think, false reports that were coming out. They were not accurate. So they were not totally false. They were not accurate in the information and how they were being presented.
Yeah. And I think those professionals, some of them have walked back in their information, and we don't want to say fear mongering, but it is kind of what they were doing.
Right. Whether they meant to or not.
They scared women to death.
Exactly.
And
so we will get into that in a future podcast also. So,
but yeah, having women that you can ask questions. Like I said, I'm grateful that I have sisters that I can compare notes, that we can totally laugh at ourselves, and
completely.
And then on the flip side of that, get serious with and
Right.
ask those hard questions. Did you feel like this? Did you experience this? Because I feel broken. I feel like I don't know my body anymore. I feel like, of course my husband doesn't understand. He, why are you acting like this? What's wrong with you? And that just,
Well, I think my husband was ahead of me in, like I said,
and that's
the hormone
awesome.
department. So he was obviously doing some secretive research and wondering why I was going crazy.
Why
he
is
was like,
my wife
my
crazy?
wife is crazy. What is happening?
Google, please help me. Yes.
And it said menopause. Enough already.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So I
but
would
yes,
say stay tuned. Join us again. Submit some questions, and we have an email set up yet?
We will be getting an email set up, and we will put that out. We're going to be offering all kinds of supportive platforms through social media, snippets of information, just to help educate, help reassure you that you are not alone. Every woman is going through this, and it's like this big unknown for so many years. The conversation needs to open up, and we need to have more information than we have on menopause, and even women's health in general. When we talk about women's health, typically we think about reproductive years, and in the lifespan of a female, that is such a tiny little portion. You're telling me that she has to live the rest of her life in this unknown realm of menopause. And what does that even mean? Well, no one wants to talk about it, because most of your researchers and general practitioners have typically been male, and they have no idea.
Right.
So we want a place for you to go.
Right.
We want to be that support.
So if you could, last question for you, Courtney, if you could go back to your 40-year-old self, 35-year-old self, what is one thing you would tell yourself about your health?
To get the symptoms checked earlier. Stop dismissing them. Oh, I'm just tired. I feel like I did that for a long time. Like, man, I'm just tired. Let me look for a vitamin. Let me look for nutritionally.
Energy supplement.
Yeah, give me all the energy drinks. When that's garbage.
Energy drinks, you know what they did to me?
Yeah.
You know, that 5-hour energy? It made my lips swell up. I had an allergic reaction. My lips swelled up and I had these huge injections, and it felt like bees stinging my lips. So I woke up in the middle of the night dreaming, because I was dreaming bees were stinging my lips, and I woke up and it was huge lips. 5-hour energy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't drink those anymore.
No, I would say not. No. Yeah. Stop dismissing feeling tired. That is one of the main indicators of a hormonal shift.
Yes.
Is fatigue and tiredness. Yes. And I think we dismiss it. A drop in libido. We are made to be sexual individuals. A drop in libido that you dismiss because you go, I'm too freaking tired.
Right.
I'm too freaking tired. But they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So going back to my 40-year-old self, stop dismissing what you're feeling. Get it checked out. If it's nothing, okay, awesome. But advocate for yourself.
Right.
Educate yourself.
Yes, 100%.
And I think that's one of the biggest things. I was just moving blindly through, dismissing it that, well, you're not 20 anymore, because that's what he said. Mm-hmm. I needed to punch him in the face and wake up. What about you? What's your...
I would say the same thing. Get checked. listen to my husband.
No, I'm not listening to mine. He's like, what's wrong with you?
You! So, yeah, getting checked, and I will say, listening, he's watching me and he's seeing these things happen, and so many times we're not even aware of what's going on.
Right.
So if I would have just said, you know what, you're right, and made a call and gotten the appointment earlier, I feel like I could have saved some time. And because I kept saying, oh, this will get better, this will get better, this will get better, and it was just getting worse and worse. I mean, who puts on their shoes in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom?
Because your feet hurt.
Because my feet hurt. I don't now. So anyway.
Yeah.
Enough already.
Yes.
So with that, we want to say thank you for listening, and join us again for the next episode of Menopause. Enough already.